Etymology Dictionary. Colonize as a verb, 1620s, to settle with colonists, plant or establish a colony in. Okay? From stem of Latin, colonus, tiller of the soil, farmer. What? So to colonize means to what? It means to settle with colonists, to plant or establish a colony in. From the Latin colonus, tiller of the soil, farmer. Huh? I thought colonizing meant to like come in and take over and enslave people and have them stuck and have them subjugated and torture them and keep them poor. You telling me to colonize means to till the soil and farm? Well then shit, nigga, I'm a colonizer then. I like to plant shit. I like to till the land. I'm a farmer. So am I considered a colonist? So when they talk about British colonial America, or colonial British America, or colonial French America, or colonial Spanish America, they're talking about farming, guys. Farming. Yeah, we gotta unlearn shit to learn the real shit. So colonizing has everything to do with tilling the soil and farming, guys. This is why people like Chivan had houses or teepees with a lot of land. Because it said what? It said, let's get to it. Let's get back to it. It said what now? They said that they said around his home were several of his business ventures. Right? Because the Negro's a businessman. Huh? And many acres of land tilled or colonized by his slaves. Right? Since you're going to till the earth or farm, that means you're colonizing. You see what happens when you learn the true definitions of words? Then you get the real aspect of the story. So all this stuff about colonial America, that's talking about the period or age of agriculture. Everybody, there was nobody over here in America who didn't have a contract. Okay? So let's keep pushing. I hope this presentation is knocking you upside your noggin right now. We cutting right now. So looky here. So this is Carlos Cuervo Marquez, born 1858, died in 1930. He was an ethnologist, a botanist, a military general, and a historian. Okay, let's see what he says. And this is coming out of his book, right? Estudios Arqueológicos e Etnográficos, which in my understanding would be the study of archaeology and ethnology. Volume 1, Madrid, 1920. And I quote, "The Negro type is seen in the most ancient Mexican sculpture. The Negroes figure frequently in the most remote traditions of some American pueblos. It is to this race doubtlessly belongs the most ancient skeletons distinct from the red American race, which have been found in various places from Bolivia to Mexico." Because the country of Bolivia is a country on the American continent, so Bolivians are Americans, right? From Bolivia to Mexico, both of these are Americans. It is likely that we repeat America was a Negro continent. Okay? Now look at this Moor over here. He's from Algiers. This is an Algerian Zoe. Alright? And we're going to have a look at the Zoes in a second. But the Zoes, or the Zouaves, were the French. Okay? And this was the French coming out of Louisiana, because Louisiana was France during the 18th century. So Algiers, this is New Orleans, right? Let me show y'all too. Real quick. Real quick. Real quick. Real quick, y'all. See that? Algiers, New Orleans. You see that? Algerian. Okay? New Orleans. Okay? Look at here. Algiers was established in 1719 as a plantation, not a neighborhood, originally called the King's Plantation. It was first used as the location for the City Powder magazine, a holding area for the newly arrived enslaved Africans. Now we know that's bullshit. Decades later, it became a port call for the displaced Cajuns. Okay? In 1870, Algiers was annexed to the city as the 15th ward. Look at this, man. 1719, Algiers was established here in what we call New Orleans today. 1719. When did the American Revolutionary War take place? Wasn't that 1776? All right. So come on now. Which Algiers is we talking about? Okay. So look at this American, or what we would call a French. Look at this Frenchman. Look at this Moor. Look at this American Indian. And then this is coming from downtown Seattle. Let me show y'all one more thing, so y'all know that the calling card. Look. Let's see here. Let y'all see something. Look at this. The fleur de lis, flower. See this logo? See that? That's the logo of the Holy Alliance. Holy Alliance. Yeah, that's the ain't that the symbol for the New Orleans blah blah blah? Yep. French. This is a French symbol. This is also the symbol of my family crest. Well, looky here. The fleur-de-lis was the symbol of the alliance. The Holy Alliance was a military alliance and political union of France, Spain, and their colonies and constituent nations. Okay? See that? See that? And then you see a Negro face a butt at. You can tell that's a Negro with the locks hanging on the side there. Okay? And this is in downtown Seattle. I see this building on my way to work. French. Every time I see that, every time you see that symbol, you should be thinking about French. Okay? Because you're going to realize that the French and the Spanish are one and the same. It's all one family. One family. People got us confused as to what's really happening. All right, so before we leave this page, let's go back to my man Carlos. What he says: the Negro type is seen in the most ancient Mexican sculpture. What Mexican sculpture is he talking about? Maybe he's talking about these Mexican sculptures. And Mexico is a country on the continent of America, so then these would be considered American sculptures. You see? Niggas. Or these are the Olmecs, or the She people. Okay? Everybody's coming out of the She people. Let's keep it pushing. What do we have here? 18th century paintings of the indigenous people of the Caribbean by Italian painter Agostino Brunius, 1730 to 1796. In 1770, Brunius left London to travel to the Caribbean and chronicle the inhabitants' lives on canvas. Toussaint L'Ouverture wore 18 buttons of Brunius's paintings on his waistcoat in Haiti. So shout out to Brunius, he put in that work. All right, so look at all these paintings of niggas throughout the 18th century. All right. Caribbean Indian woman in an interior in St. Vincent, 1770. This is a West Indian scene, 1795. A native family of St. Vincent, 1770. Free West Indian Dominicans, also titled Free Natives of Dominica, 1770. Okay, so there really shouldn't be no hate between Haiti and the Dominican Republic. It's wild crazy. West Indian man of color directing 2 cabaret women with a child, 1780. Look what we have over here. We have a glyph, right, of 2 Floridians or Seminoles, okay, or might even be Yamasees, okay, Tamarican, Florida, okay, and this person here is DeSoto, Ferdinand DeSoto. So DeSoto is meeting the niggas, okay, who wear the feather crowns. We've been here, y'all. We've been here. Oh, this is where it starts to get a little juicy. Okay, so this building here is the New York Film Academy, okay? I want you to notice at the top, in the middle of that pyramid at the top of the building, as you can tell, this is an old structure just by how it's built, right? Brownstone. This would be in alignment with Chief Van's house, right, in Georgia. So in the middle of this glyph here is a fez, okay? The reason why this is here is because this is a representation of the headwear or headdress that the military or the army was wearing during the Revolutionary War and during many wars since time immemorial. But this is the reason why this is here, all right, that fez. And this is the same reason why I showed you that fez in the seal of 1775 for the Department of the Army. Okay, and look what they have over here in the museum of the American Revolution. Look at this uniform, and this is what you would call a Zoe uniform, or the Zouave, or I believe this is the Zoe, the Zoe pound. I believe this is what we were wearing. Okay, the red, white, and blue with the fez on top with the yellow tassel. All right, but this is a this seal on this building is describing this. So this might have been a military building, if anything. Okay, so let's keep pushing. So here's another closer look at the fez. You see the yellow tassel, all right, and you see the fringes with the stars and the band. Okay, so now if we get into, see that? All right, that's what we're dealing with. Okay, and then if you come over here, okay, this was the battle gear. Okay, and this is for New York. This is a private from the 10th New York City Volunteers, and this is a sergeant from the 10th New York City Volunteers. So this is private uniform, okay, and then you have a sergeant's uniform. So they're both wearing kepis. This is a kepi, and it's funny because in Haiti we call top hats kepi, or kepi. So this is a kepi. This is the actual name of this kepi. So this is what I'm saying. Like, there's a deep connection between Haiti and you'll see. So over in New York here, are you seeing the turban with the fez and the blue tassel? Okay, this is New York. If you just wipe the white faces out of your mind, and you got to replace these with niggas. Okay, I'm not saying there wasn't white people who were fighting, but there was a lot more niggas fighting than white folks. Very, very few white folks, unless they were the front line niggas that got sent in, okay, by the British or whatever, the French or the Spanish. So look at the gear here for Louisiana. Okay, this is military gear. This is military uniform. All right. So in New York, you got the fez and the tassel, which is equivalent to this building here, which is also in New York. So this probably was the armory, or this was the building for the military. Now it's a film academy. So look at Louisiana. You got the kepi here, right? And this is a Zoe. Told you these are Zoes. The Zoes came from Louisiana. The Zoes came out of France. The Zoes were French. Okay, so you're looking at New York. New York was considered part of the British colony. So New York, you're looking at Britain. So this is Britain, right? And then this is French, right? So you got the Brits here and the French wearing the same shit. Colors may differ a little bit, but look, you still got the kepi, you still got the fez with the tassel. Okay? Alright. This is what was being worn during the American Revolution, y'all. Okay? So let's keep it pushing. So this here is the eastern seaboard. Okay? This is where your 13 colonies is at. This is New England. Okay? You see how big Louisiana was? This is where the Zoes came from. And yes, there was a portion in time when it was Spanish Louisiana, but then it also became French Louisiana. Look at the Viceroyalty of New Spain. Look at how big that territory is. Look at Alaska being Russia. Huh? You have Washington and Oregon here. Alright? Just look at what this looked like in 1762. This is what the landmass looked like. Okay? 1762. And then you pull up over here. The Moors, or so-called Indians, on the eastern seaboard of the United States were a maritime people and were the same Moors found on the other side of the Atlantic on the coast from southwest Africa all the way up to England, Ireland, Scotland, Denmark, etc. In fact, the people called the Danes and Vikings were originally Moorish navigators. David McRitchie says in the book Ancient and Modern Britons, Volume 1 on page 299. Receipts. So the Moors, or so-called Indians on the eastern seaboard. This is the eastern seaboard, y'all. Okay, this is when West Florida was still here. Now you just have East Florida, but West Florida, or Al-Andalus, right? It's right here. Facts upon facts upon facts, y'all. Receipts, 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 receipts. That's what it's all about. And so let's look here. Fort Negro, 1816. In the evening, a deputation of chiefs went into the fort and demanded its surrender, but they were abused and treated with the utmost contempt. The black chief heaped much abuse on the Americans and said he had been left in command of the fort by the British government and that he would sink any American vessel that should attempt to pass it and would blow up the fort if he could not defend it. The chief also informed me that the Negroes had a red flag and the English Jack was flying over it. The red flag, the flag of the Almaricanos, the Almoracan Empire, the American Empire. Almaricanos means American or Moroccan. Okay? And this is Alpha Abaliba. Dark as shit. Nothing but receipts, y'all. Why did the Negroes have a red flag? The Negroes had a red flag. And mind you, the British had left a black chief. The British government left the black chief in charge of the fort. Okay? It's crazy how much we've been lied to. These brothers right here are Incas. These are Incas, okay? Africans and Native Americans. All right, this is a good book. So check it here. Negro, Black, and Moor. The evolution of these terms as applied to Native Americans and others. Different tendencies in the use of Negro and Black. In 1854, let me make this bigger so y'all can see. Make this bigger so y'all can see. Boom. In 1854, the California State Supreme Court sought to bar all non-Caucasians from equal citizenship and civil rights. The court stated, the word black may include all Negroes, but the term Negro does not include all black persons. We are of the opinion that the words white, Negro, mulatto, and black person, whenever they occur in our Constitution, must be taken in their generic sense, that the words black person in the 14th section must be taken as contradistinguished from white and necessarily includes all races other than the Caucasian. I know we read this earlier, but I'm bringing it back because now that we've gone through all those bits of information, now we're going to read this again with a different set of eyes. Okay? As convoluted as the quote may be, it expresses a strong tendency in the history of the United States, a tendency to identify two broad classes of people, white and non-white, or they could just say white and black. Okay? Citizen and non-citizen, or semi-citizen. But remember, in the classifications, of the 5 classifications that's the same ones that's on the SS5 form, Okay? There's only one that truly speaks to the situation or the condition or the jurisdiction of the so-called Negro, and that is American Indian. And prior to American Indian, we were Moors. Simple. And as Moors, we came from particular tribes. There's hella tribes over here, y'all. Hella tribes. Too many to name. And trust me, I'm trying. Okay? The tendency to create a two-caste society often clashed with the reality of a territory which included many different types of people of all colors and different degrees of intermixture of European, American, African, and Asian American Indian people, whether of unmixed ancestry or mixed with other stocks, were at times affected by the tendency to create a purely white, black social system, especially when living away from a reservation or the tribal homeland. Especially when living away from the reservation. So who they're talking about again? Non-reservation Indians, Moroccans. Keep it pushing. So now, if you get the book, A Genealogical History, Jews and Muslims in British Colonial America. Let's read this portion here, y'all. And y'all can find out why this is the United States of Americanos. Estados Americanos. Okay? The first. Let's just come here. We document that Spain's loss, I'm starting from the top. We document that Spain's loss was Britain's gain, beginning with the initial planning, organization, and promotion of the first British colonial efforts. Sephardic Jews and Muslim Moors were present as navigators, ship captains, sailors, metallurgists, cartographers, financiers, and colonists. Okay? Among these we find Joachim Gans, Simon Ferdinando, Walter Raleigh, John Hawkins, Humphrey Gilbert, Richard Hakluyt Sr. and Jr., Francis Drake, Martin Frobisher, and Abraham Ortelius. All right. The first and second British colonies in North America, Virginia and Massachusetts, were provisioned, funded, and peopled by persons of Sephardic Jewish and Muslim Moorish descent. Current genetic genealogical studies of the Appalachian descendants of these early colonists demonstrate that they carried DNA haplotypes, male or female lineages, and genes from Sephardic, Ottoman, and North African founders. Further, these early North American colonists often bore straightforwardly Jewish and Muslim surnames. Remember, colonists just means when you see colonists now, just know we're just talking about farmers or tillers of the land, people working on plantations or establishing plantations. We're talking about farms and planting things, agriculture. All right, that's who the colonists were, the agriculturists. Attested are Ali. These are some of the Jewish and Muslim surnames that these colonists often bore. Okay, Ali, spelled A-L-L-E-E, no different than A-L-I, same name, Ali. Alif, Saracen or Saracen, Moises or Moses, right? Bagsel, Hagara or Hagar, right? One of Abraham's wives, the line of Hagar. Akosen and even Saladin. Indeed, given the patently non-Christian backgrounds of so many settlers up and down the Atlantic coastline. Let me repeat that again. Indeed, given the patently non-Christian backgrounds of so many settlers up and down the Atlantic coastline of the American colonies, it becomes difficult to ignore the significant declarations of religious tolerance inscribed in the U.S. Constitution. Even and particularly New York, founded by the Dutch as New Amsterdam, was heavily peopled by Sephardic Jews and Muslim Moors. The presence of persons from these ethnic affiliations on the governing boards of the Dutch West and East India Companies is no accident. They included Jonathan Cohen and Cornelius Spielman, another classic Jewish name. Other New Amsterdam and later New York residents were Jacob Abrahamson, or son of Abraham, and Dennis Isaacson, or son of Isaac. Okay, we present contemporaneous testimony suggesting that even the leading Knickerbocker families of the New York colony, the Van Cortlands. This is why. Okay, and then I stopped there, but it goes on to say that even the Van Cortlands. So let us read, okay? Treaty of Tripoli. And as you can see, right, according to the Gregorian calendar, this Treaty of Peace and Friendship signed at Tripoli November 4th, 1796. Okay? In outside of the Christian calendar, we're talking about the Moorish calendar or the Islamic calendar. It was the year 1211. So 1796 was 1211 for us. 1796 is 1211 for us in real time. And let us read further. And this is Article 11 out of the Treaty of Tripoli. As the government, let me see if I can make this bigger. I want to make sure y'all see this shit. As the government of the United States of America is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion, as it has in itself no character of enmity against the laws, religion, or tranquility of Muslims or Muslims. This is what we're really being called here, Muslimen, because we always had great stature, in shape, muscular, doing our thing over here as American men. Okay? The religion or tranquility of Muslimen, and as the said states, never have entered into any war or act of hostility against any Mahometan nation. It is declared by the parties that no pretext arising from religious opinions shall ever produce an interruption of the harmony existing between the two countries. This is why the First Amendment is paramount, your freedom of religion and your freedom of speech. So now, this makes perfect sense. If you have a group of people, a group of Sephardic Jews or Muslim Moors, who are, and these are the same people that left Grenada in 1492 after the surrender. Okay, so you got these same people now who are now spreading across the Americas, and they're now repeopling or repopulating areas that weren't peopled before. Why? Because they're being exiled out of Grenada due to their religious creed. So it would make sense if people had to run a war or hide or do such things because of their religious creed to try to show that they're not part of something when it's their natural creed. Then it makes no wonder why the First Amendment would be the First Amendment, because you had Sephardic Jews and Muslim Moors that were considering, so what's the first thing, what's the first order of business you want to make sure that is an established rule for people living here and other people coming here who are escaping religious persecution? Let's make sure that you can't use that against them over here. You can't persecute someone based on their religion over here. First Amendment. We face so much trauma being exiled out of Grenada. It would make sense why the First Amendment is the First Amendment, because the United States of America was established by Moors, right? Sephardic Jews and Muslim Moors. So the government of the United States of America is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion. Not in any sense. This is an Islamic country. This is a Muslim country. You get it? You get it? Welcome to the United States of Almaricanos.